Okay. I will be moderating this session with Dr. Tunde Shegun, who will join us shortly. My name is Chukwuemeka Okerafor, and I'll quickly invite some people to the high table, then we'll take the national anthem, and right away we'll begin the activities to mark the close of this conference. I have the pleasure and honor to invite to the high table the chair of AFP Board of Trustees in the person of Alhaji Sani Umar Jabi, the Sarkin Yakin Gaji. A round of applause for him as he comes to the high table. Let's make him feel welcome as he comes to the high table, please. To join him in the high table also, it's my pleasure to welcome the chair of the Technical Management Committee of AFP, Dr. Ejike Oji. A round of applause for him also. Let's also make welcome to the high table. He's been very busy with his laptop. I hope he will have time to just take a break and join us at the high table. Dr. Haruna Okai to the high table also, sir. Okay, this chair of the Technical and Logistics Committee. You're welcome, sir. You see, I told you, he even came to the high table with his laptop. So it's a serious matter. You're well done, sir. I don't want to follow the lead that has been set. I'm not inviting this person because we just want to balance the high table. Far from it. By every standard and by every measure, if there's a higher table, she deserves to be there. So please, let's make welcome to the high table also, Dr. Moji Odeku. If you know yourself, you should clap better. In fact, anything that had to do with resource for this conference, she mobilized it. If you don't know why you need to clap, my payment, my fee, she mobilized it also. Please, a round of applause for her. Thank you very much. That is what happens when you have a lot of children. Whether you like it or not, your children will hail you, no matter how much you try to hide. It is not our fault, man. It is the impact you have created that is following you up and down. Okay. I mean, imagine a program I'm the MC and Dr. Odeku is around. Well, I do. We have to do it. So yes. Okay, I also want to invite to the Okay, so for now, let me not Okay. I also have the honor to invite to the high table she's a member of the Board of Trustees of AFP, Dr. Adenike Adeyemi. A round of applause for her also. To the high table, ma. You're welcome, ma. Okay, I like that. His Royal Highness is insisting we balance this table. You're welcome, Dr. Adeyemi. Okay. Because this issue has been talked about severally in the course of this conference about handing over to the next generation, about empowering the next generation, I think it's also very proper that we don't just do the talking, but also show. I'm not here. And also show the talk. We should walk the talk, show the talk, and do the talk. In that respect, I'm talking about youths. They're very critical to what we are doing. And to show that we mean what we say, it's my pleasure to invite to the high table also, not just to sit on the high table, but to rub shoulders with the high table. So please make welcome to the high table, Aisha Waziri, to the high table, please. And she'll be representing the youth and young people's constituency. And you know the fun about this, she wasn't expecting it. But so it is. Aisha, we are waiting for you. Aisha, you're welcome. Take your seat. You can sit beside PD and collect all the anointing you need for the race ahead. Thank you very much. Okay, I need the ushers, please. I need help here, please. Thank you very much. Just give me a minute, please. Okay. Thank you for your patience as I had to clarify something. So I also need to invite to the high table, and she will read the communique for us. She's the chair of the technical subcommittee, and if you follow this conference, you will not doubt how hard she has really worked. So let's make welcome to the high table, Dr. Miriam Olaide Jagun. A round of applause for her. The good thing is before she came to the high table, her bag is already here waiting for her. You're welcome. So you can see, the bag is very sensitive. The bag knows where to be at every point in time. You're welcome. Okay, my co-moderator has also entered. It's also proper to also welcome and introduce him, but not to the high table. Don't worry, he's not coming to the high table. So please, let's make welcome also to the microphone. Okay, let camera also see you, sir. Come on, let us pose for the camera. So Dr. Tunde Shegu, my co-moderator, you're welcome, sir. You're welcome, sir. May I kindly request that we all rise as we take the second stanza of the national anthem and formally begin this event. At the count of 3, we will not sing, we will read it like a national prayer. 1, 2, 3. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty heights attain, to build a nation where peace and justice reign. Thank you very much. You may take your seats. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's been 3 solid days of exchanges, of cross-fertilization of ideas, of questions and answers, of presentations, of debates. And we are very excited that those 3 days have ended with some very important takeaways from all segments of society. it's not my duty to do the opening remarks. I have someone whose shoe I can't fit into, and I'm going to invite to the lectern to give us the opening remarks for this closing ceremony. Please, let's make welcome Dr. Moji Odeku to the microphone. You may also want to use the one in front of you. They're all wiped, but I know Madam will still wipe her own again. That's the spirit. So, like we said, we're very grateful to the microphones that are not going to get drunk at the end of this conference. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you very much, the co-MCs, for providing us the facilitation through the days. Wow, wow is what I would say. We have come to the end of this innovative virtual blended conference. Indeed, the journey has gone to tell us that when we put our minds to attain to do the unspeakable, unimaginable, and the power of leveraging energies would actually bring us to bear close to our destination. The journey ahead of us is far. We have moved this far. We're excited. Over the past few days, we're able to learn that indeed there is progress. We've also able to learn that indeed there is more to do. But one exciting thing is we learned innovative platforms to begin to address those challenges. So in my remarks, I would just want to encourage us, researchers, implementers, policymakers. This year has taught us to be able to act. We had disruptions through COVID this year. None of us was prepared to it, but we were being flexible enough to attend to those issues. A lot have been learned from Monday, from the pre-conferences right through today. We do have immersed learnings. The joy will be to take these learnings that when we convene again in the next 2 years, by the grace of God, we will be able to look at what we've learned, what have we done with it, so that we don't just become a dumping ground of learnings and evidences. We have seen the power of knowledge management, that if we don't keep archives, we cannot tell our story. One significant thing this year was the presentation of the archive of the journey of Nigerian family planning conferences, which is an exciting ride for us. We've also seen evidences that shown us progress of where we were. We started the conference with that. We've learned what to do. So no more asking questions. We know what should. We have learned that investing in the youth and using digital platform is the way to go. Therefore, all these policies should be on the digital platform. And it's our dream that AAFP would be able to archive all this on the website of AAFP, because that's the vision of AAFP, to be the one-stop shop for all the learnings of family planning in Nigeria, and create that vital platform to harness the potentials. Our youths, our vision is at the next conference is the youth wing who will be anchoring this. And we shall all sit as supporters behind the scene, all right? And so our youth also needs to step up, because yesterday we learned that it's not that we are not giving room to the youth, but the youth are not stepping up. See, please just show us that you can step up. And then the backbone to support is already there. This is a challenge that I'm giving to the youth in my closing remarks, so that we will align behind you and use the digital platform to promote the access of family planning all over Nigeria. Thank you very much for those who have stayed on to this closing ceremony, and we do hope that we are energized to continue to do the great work. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Deku. Again, she has said something that I want us to also remember. When the guest speaker made a speech, she mentioned how long shall we wait and how long is long enough for us to deal with gender-based violence in Nigeria. How long shall we wait? Again, Dr. Deku is asking, shall we be a dumping ground of knowledge, or are we going to act based on all the knowledge and research presented before us? When shall we act? And she also mentioned about young people. The good thing about young people is age. I think, what is the age? 35 years, right? Margaret, what's the official? I think you've reduced it again. 29. Is there any court around here where I can do affidavit? Because at this age, at this rate, you all have to be here as young people. Okay, but that's a very important one. The young people need to step up. And please, because 29, by that time, you should have a proper birth certificate, not age declaration. So we'll not allow anybody who has declaration of age. Okay, we move on quickly. Talking about youth, what a way to introduce the youth subcommittee than the way that the youth already has been introduced. And on that, it's my pleasure to welcome to the microphone for her presentation the representative of the youth subcommittee, Aisha Waziri, to the microphone, please. A round of applause for her, please. Let's encourage her. And in line with our COVID protocol, like I mentioned earlier, the FCT Health Subcommittee Chair, Dr. Jike is here, is eyeing me with one eye. If we don't do this thing very well, it might affect things. So please, Aisha, just a minute, please let me. Okay, you also introduce your fellow youth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for having us. My colleague Sarbian will start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Permit me to stand on already existing protocols. My name is Sarbian Sheni from Education as a Vaccine, and I was the secretary for the Youth Subcommittee. Following the youth pre-conference that took place on the 8th of December, the key outcomes and inputs from the Youth Subcommittee, we have synergized our ask. We want you to know that we are ready to take on as much as we can, as Dr. Moji has stated. So I'll hand over my mic to my colleague Aisha Waziri, who will be presenting our asks. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarabian. We are very, very ready. And we know we have people like Dr. Moji who will back us. Thank you, Ma, and everyone. So this evening, we'll be presenting the key acts on behalf of all young people in this country. Next slide, please. We'd like to ask that the state government, we'd like to ask the federal government to support state governments to strengthen the capacity of primary healthcare facilities across the country by training healthcare workers on youth friendliness and through the provision of minimum package of service standard in all PHCs. You will agree with me that strengthening PHCs to be youth friendly will not only reduce provider bias, but will also address the issues of confidentiality, which is one of the major factors hindering young people from accessing services. Secondly, prioritize the inclusion of AYSRH, including contraception services in the state annual operational plans and costed implementation plans, while ensuring adolescent and youth-focused interventions in the states where family planning unmet need among young people is high and increasing, as well as invest in postpartum family planning programs for first-time teenage mothers and married adolescents. During the youth pre-conference, data indicated that there are a lot of states where we have high unmet need for family planning, and there are a lot of unmarried adolescents. So that means if partners, donors, and government implement reproductive health programs in those states, will go a long way in increasing the CPR. Next slide, please. Also, while we acknowledge and appreciate the Federal Ministry of Health for integrating 4 young persons into the National Reproductive Health Technical Working Group at the national level, we'll also like to ask for same to be done at the state level, and also ensure and improve the efforts of all the 36 states to establish the Adolescent Health Technical Working Group. And also, let's ensure that we make very good use of the operationalization guide, which made clear for a provision for young person to be part of the leadership. Last but not the least, strengthen multi-sectoral collaborations to harness the multiple investment across all sectors involved in adolescent and youth programs to identify, accelerate, and sustain the progress made as we look beyond FP 2020 commitment. You will all agree with me that we cannot overemphasize the importance of having all the MDS responsible for programming for young people to collaborate and synergize and work together. This is why we have been working so hard to ensure that all states establish the technical working groups for adolescents and youth, because it is the body vested with the responsibility to ensure this coordination. So we ask and we hope and we agree that you will help us to make sure that this happens in all states. So to end this, I would like to celebrate each and every one of us for being part of the conversation so far. It has been very meaningful and progressive. We are thankful and we look forward to more opportunities to be part of this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Aisha. Okay. Since Dr. Odeku has set the tone rolling for young people, it is now my honor and privilege to welcome to the microphone my fellow youth and co-moderator, Dr. Shegun. A round of applause for the fellow youth, please. And at this point, I'll say over and out. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my fellow youth. Anybody who is angry, go and hug Transformer. Dealing with anger management. Okay, so one of the things we learned in school, which was a challenge, is when they give you a long comprehension and they tell you to write a summary. Usually there is some challenge in it. So I don't envy the person I'm going to call up right now. We've had 3 days of solid and diverse and innovative and in-depth discussions around family planning. And he has the responsibility to come and give us something that will wrap us up on the conference. So snapshot of what has happened. So it's my pleasure to invite the Director of Advocacy at the Planned Parenthood Federation of Nigeria, Dr. Haruna Okai, to come and give us the conference wrap-up. Dr. Okai, you have the floor.
Hello? Good. Thank you once more. I beg to stand on the existing protocol. Like the moderator said, I'm here to summarize this 5 days conference in just 1 or 2 minutes. This is the 6th Nigerian Family Planning Conference 2020 in Abuja. The venue is Scouting Hotel and Apartment and Development Research and Project Center, DRPC. Today, 11th December, happens to be the final day, and we're holding the closing ceremony. The Nigerian Family Planning Conference is a biannual event, the last one being in 2018. It brings together experts, partners, policymakers, and other stakeholders to discuss and share experiences on progress made and to chart the way forward towards improving the existing family planning situation in Nigeria. The conference was the first to hold a virtual platform. And here we are today, though few, but we have quite a lot watching us all over the whole world, courtesy of COVID-19 pandemic. The aim being to maintain adequate COVID-19 etiquette. The theme of the conference was Post-FP 2020 Agenda and Safeguarding Investment in Emergencies, Adaptation, Innovation, Resilience, with 7 sub-themes. The goal of the conference being to increase access to quality and innovative family planning information and services in Nigeria. The conference started on Monday, 7th December 2020, with the Women's Pre-Conference Virtual Program, which was fully booked. Distinguished women from various walks of life participated in the conference, at the end of which a communique was written and presented. The conference continued on Tuesday, 8th December 2020 by the Interfaith Pre-Conference Program. This was again fully subscribed for and drew participants from the major religious group in the country. Currently, there was also the Youth Conference virtual program. This program presented key outcome summaries at the end. The main conference commenced on Wednesday, 19th December 2020 and lasted to Friday, today. The conference used plenary and parallel sessions to achieve the goals of having topics and including guest lectures, oral papers, poster presentations by attendees, both virtually and physically. The conference used 5 halls in the main hotel and 1 in DRPC outside the hotel. A total of 102 oral and 29 poster presentations were accepted for the conference. There were 7 parallel sessions of 6 sessions, meaning of the 7 parallel sessions, 1 was having 6 sessions, and 12 plenary sessions during the conference. The conference attracted 1,200 participants, both nationally and internationally. The opening ceremony had in attendance 4 federal ministers. I want to say this is the first time in the conference of AAFP that 4 ministers will be present. Namely, Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehanire, Honorable Minister of State for Health, Dr. Norunibe Mamora, Honorable Minister of Women Affairs and Social Development, Dame Pauline Talen, and the host minister, Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, who was represented by one of the directors. The ministers each made commendable contributions to the conference and promised to support the aims and objectives of the conference. In addition, the Honorable Minister of State declared the conference open and formally launched the storybook titled Family Planning for a More Productive Nigeria. Virtual and physical goodwill messages were received from international private donors, bilateral organizations, multilateral organizations, global partnership initiatives, and many partners and donors as well. The last day of the conference commenced activity early today with 6 parallel oral sessions, presentation, followed by the Professor Babatunde Oshetimehin Reproductive Health Legacy Forum, Young People in Nigeria and Family Planning, Shaping the Future. And the speaker was Professor Shegun Fatusi. This was followed with the annual population lecture series, which is an annual lecture series under the leadership of National Population Commission, an event shared today by His Royal Highness Alhaji Aliyu Onao, OON, the Andoma Odoma. And you can see, because of the passion the key speaker has for this particular topic, that is the gender-based violence in emergency and family planning emergency. Though with her condition, she was still able to come, and that is Professor Ngwembe Vicky Sylvester of University of Abuja. And an interactive session followed with donors, namely UK8, the UNFPA, MSD from others, and USAID. Finally, we are holding the closing ceremony here. Dr. Moji Odeku gave the opening remark, and he emphasized that AAFP is a one-stop shop for family planning. Youths need to step up and take over the activities of AAFP. The youth read their pre-conference communique, and I will look forward to the general communique coming out of this conference for adoption. Hopefully, the conference will be having a closing ceremony with a member from the high table. I think at this point, I will just leave the final point to the last speaker to help me end the wrap up for this particular occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okai. I can imagine how uneasy it was for you to give us a wrap up of 5 days in just a few minutes. So going ahead, we're going to project the draft communique that was put together by an ad hoc committee. And I tell you, they only had a few hours to put this together. So in absentia, I want to recognize Professor Mutihir, who has had to go and anchor another session. He was the chair of the communique writing team. I want to also recognize in absentia the rapporteurs led by Adeyi Williams and his team, who worked tirelessly in the past few hours, and my humble self as technical anchor for this program. We all used a lot of brain energy to try and put everything in a format that you will see. So I will call to the microphone now the chair of the technical subcommittee of the 6th National Family Planning Conference, Dr. Moriam Olaide Jagun, to come and read out the communique. Dr. Jagun, please.
So can you put it up? Thank you very much, Dr. Shegun, for inviting me over to the podium. Please permit me to rest an existing protocol. My name is Dr. Moriam Olaide Jagun, and I'm the chair of the technical subcommittee. Also, let me lend my voice to Dr. Shegun to thank the communique ad hoc committee for, in a short time, like you said, for being agile and responsive. They actually came up with this detailed communique. He has mentioned the names of the chair and the co-chair and other members of the ad hoc committee. Please let us put our hands together for them. Like Dr. Odeku said, it's wow, 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 that we've actually come to the end of this 5-day conference. And I can tell you that, yes, it's innovative, it was quite challenging. And even with all those challenges, we're able to come through it and actually deliver a good conference. I must say thank you very much. So I'll be reading the communique, which encapsulated all that we did and what we are trying to present to the entire community. And it has roles for the different stakeholders in it. Now I'll read the communique. The 6th Nigeria Family Planning Conference 2020, held between 7 and 11 December 2020 at the Wells Carson Hotel and Apartments, Asokoro, Abuja, and Development Research and Project Center, DRPC, Abuja. The 2020 conference is the 6th in the series of the Nigeria's biannual family planning conferences. This conference presented unique opportunities due to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has caused tremendous upheaval to health systems around the world, disrupting access to family planning information and services, as well as sexual and reproductive health more broadly. The strategic direction of the conference was guided as follows. We have the goal which is to increase access to quality and innovative family planning information and services in Nigeria. And the theme of the conference, as I mentioned, throughout the conference, is the post-FP 2020 agenda and safeguarding investment in emergencies, which includes the COVID-19 pandemic, adaptation, innovation, resilience. There were 7 sub-themes which have been mentioned, earlier on. The conference commenced on Monday, 7 December 2020, with the Women's Pre-Conference. Distinguished women from various walks of life participated in the conference, and at the end, which a communique was written and presented. Tuesday, 8th December 2020, featured the Interfaith Pre-Conference, which drew participants from the major religious groups in country. It also featured the Youth Pre-Conference. This program presented key outcomes, summaries at the end. The main conference, which attracted virtual and in-person participation both nationally and internationally, commenced on Wednesday, 9 December 2020 and lasted till Friday today, 11 December 2020. The conference used plenary and parallel sessions to achieve the goal of having topics including guest lectures, oral papers, and poster presentations by attendees, both virtually and physically. The conference used 5 halls in the main hall and 1 satellite hall, which was in Development, Research and Project Center, which is a satellite hall. Overall, there were 102 oral abstracts and 29 poster presentations accepted for the conference. This was done in 7 parallel sessions and 6 segments each, and 12 plenary sessions during the conference. The opening ceremony had in attendance 3 federal ministers and 1 minister of state, which I say has been unique, to have 4 ministers present during the opening ceremony for AFP conferences. The ministers were the Minister of State, that has earlier been mentioned, Dr. Sage E. Hahanare, Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Tellin, and Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mohammed Musa Bello, who was represented by Dr. Mohammed Kawu, who is the Secretary for Health and Minister of State for Health, and also the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Lorunimbe Mamora. The ministers each made commendable tributes to the conference and promised to support the aims and objectives of the conference. In addition, the Minister of State declared the conference open and formally launched the book titled Family Planning for a More Productive Nigeria. Virtual and physical goodwill messages were given, received from the international private donors, bilateral organizations, multilateral organizations, and global partnership initiatives, many partners and donors. Let me also say that the storybook titled Family Planning for More Productive Nigeria was actually developed and published by NORI. So let's give a round of applause for NORI Project for doing this. The conference presentations, now let's go to the conference presentations and discussions observed as per sub-themes. They are as follows. The first one is mobilizing resources for family planning. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Nigeria has experienced a decline in funding for family planning. Realities of COVID-19 hindered the responses expected from various advocacy efforts and resulted in gains being lost. Shortcomings in our emergencies preparedness were exposed, including revealing the lower category status of family planning. Regrettably, there is still heavy donor dependency around family planning programming. However, the following efforts made towards mobilizing resources for family planning. Federal Ministry of Health made sure family planning was added to the list of essential services during the lockdown, making it accessible to those in need eventually. If you see during the presentation, they mentioned that there was a dip initially in the services around March. But because federal government was quite responsive, they quickly put their hearts together and were able to, relax the policies around movements. They were able to make sure that, services were still accessible to the clients. The media improved in its efforts in information sharing and education around family planning, and partners leverage on awareness created for COVID-19 to sustain FP programming by integrating family planning services into other programs. 2, family planning 2020 commitments. What are the gaps and the achievements that were made over time? The Honorable Minister of Health in his opening remarks actually made the following statement, and I quote him. An outcome of the 2012 London Summit on Family Planning was the FP 2020 goal to enable 120 million additional women and girls of reproductive age to have access to contraceptives by the year 2020. He went further to say that at this summit, Nigeria committed to achieving a modern contraceptive prevalence rate of 36% by the year 2018. However, this target was revised in 2017 to 27% by the year 2020. And again, they had to rebase to 27% by year 2020 to allow more time for ongoing efforts to yield results. Given the changing realities and emerging challenges, including those imposed by COVID-19 pandemic. Actually, I'm acknowledging that COVID-19 pandemic actually brought us down in addition to other challenges that have been identified. So we made this commitment that by 2024, we are going to reach 27%. So we have to make sure that all hands are on deck for us to be able to make this goal, to reach this goal. Then the third one, impactful strategies to strengthen the FP agenda post-2020 and scaling up networking and technology to improve family planning. The use of digital media, which is what we've been using now, which heightened during the COVID pandemic era because we had to keep communication going. So the digital media presents an opportunity to scale up family planning reach, especially in the advent of COVID-19 pandemic. The conference recognized the need to leverage the huge potential inherent in digital technology through training, connecting and providing information and services for clients. That is digital services provision and telemedicine. Also, the role of social media and other innovative approaches, including virtual advocacy, were also encouraged. Then the fourth, meeting the FP needs during the COVID-19 pandemic. When we talk about the supply, even though clinics were open, fear of contracting the virus among health workers contributed to reduced service provision, as well as an increased stock out of family planning commodities. That remained a big challenge for us there. And on the demand side, there was also fear for COVID-19 caused by a decline in family planning uptake, especially in public facilities. While public and private health facilities dropped in service provision, the private paid medicine vendors, which were there, but weren't bring to fore as they should, and the community pharmacists stepped in and provided services to clients, which contributed to increased uptake during the lockdowns. The PPMVs were supported with job aids to enhance their capacity to provide appropriate counseling, especially for the young people. In terms of commodities, the DNPA-SC recorded high use compared to other methods as reported by integrated projects. And this is understandably because it's heavily dependent on clients rather than on health worker. So it's easier for them to take it home and be within the comfort of their homes or wherever they are to be able to administer this. So the sixth, when we talk about the adolescents who are very visible but hard to reach, how do we reach them? What was agreed, the recommendation and the communique presents that a youth pre-conference was held aimed at mobilizing young people to develop strategies that expand and sustain adolescent youth sexual reproductive health gains in Nigeria amidst the crises and emergencies. It noted that the current FP service providers are not adequately trained to provide youth-friendly services, and this hinders the progress among youth and adolescents family planning programming. The demographic dividend effort index reports on Nigeria that we had dignitaries here to come and have a roundtable discussion around it, highlighted the increased youth population as either a burden or a potential in achieving demographic dividend in Nigeria. Despite contraceptive use among young people, there is still significant unmet need for modern contraceptives. And for the first time during the FP conference, we actually had the late Professor Babatunde Oshotimehin Reproductive Health Legacy Forum, which held during the conference. Professor Segun Fatusi, who is the Vice Chancellor of Ondo State University, came in to deliver the lecture. And the lecture was titled Young People in Nigeria and Family Planning. How do we shape the future? Shaping the future. The lecture focused strongly on young people and addressed the demand, the interplay between demand, supply, and structural barriers on the policy front. Our progress so far and how, as well as gaps between policy and recommendations. How is the relationship between them? Then moving to the key highlights of the conference. The launch of the Nigeria Demographic Dividend Effort Index Report and the scorecard by the National Population, which was led by the National Population Commission, NIMS. We presented their report on population growth and human development. This has since been presented to the president, and is one of the recommendations was that we need to reduce our fertility so that we don't reach the 3-digit figure, which we've mentioned by 2050. And also there was the launch of the Nigeria Family Planning Storybook by the Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Enhairi. And lastly, the conference coincides with the 16 days of activism on gender-based violence, and during the 8th Annual Population Lecture Series 2020 held during the conference. The guest speaker, Professor Hungumbar Victor Sylvester, focused on gender-based violence and family planning during emergencies. And our recommendations. The recommendations were divided into for the different partners and stakeholders. So we had for the government. Federal government should support state governments to strengthen the capacity of primary healthcare facilities across the country by training health workers on youth friendliness and through the provision of minimum package of service standard in all primary healthcare centers. 2, we should prioritize the inclusion of adolescent youth sexual reproductive health, including contraception services in the state annual operational plans and costed implementation plans, while ensuring that adolescent and youth-focused interventions in states where the family planning unmet need among youth people is high and increasing, as well as invest in post-pregnancy family planning programs for the first-time teenage mothers and married adolescents. Also, we should integrate young people into the state reproductive health planning technical working group to ensure meaningful engagement of adolescents and young people in program design, implementation, and evaluation at all levels. Also improve efforts to establish adolescent health and development technical working groups across the 36 states, while ensuring compliance with adolescent health and development technical working groups operationalization guide, which made clear provisions for a young person to be part of leadership. Also, recognize that we have to strengthen multi-sectoral collaboration to harness the multiple investments across all sectors involved in adolescent youth programs to identify, accelerate, and sustain efforts as we look beyond the FP2020 commitments. That's as we look forward to FP2030. Then the 5th one is that government should be more deliberate in mobilizing domestic resources for achieving the goal of 27% to all women contraceptive prevalence rates by 2024. And again, we need to contextualize family planning interventions targeted at persons with disabilities and other vulnerable groups to inclusive planning and implementation, strategic communication, innovative funding, capacity building, and public sector partnership. Now, when we talk about the role that are expected from service providers, provider bias is palpable as an impediment and should be tackled head-on. Values clarification must be reinforced in trainings, providers to be professional in their manner of service delivery, and also there is need to be supported in addressing issues of provider bias, especially towards young persons. And to partners, recommend that the need for aggregated family planning data source and collaborative partnership among partners to avoid duplication of efforts and increase efficiency of resources. And for the academia, we need to conceptualization of research, especially for young adolescents, which are between 10 and 14 age group. Then the research into contraceptive commodities among the population is effectiveness and responsiveness. And to the media, there is need to strengthen the media advocacy to ensure that FP is brought to fore among RMNCH and other health issues. And again, we need to integrate family planning into the cross-sectoral issues. So it shouldn't just be a health issue alone. It should focus across all health sectors so that we make sure that it's integrated into other sectors beyond health. We see it beyond the health issue to addressing other issues in other sectors. Then again, we need to expand the role of the media to hold policymakers accountable to what they are promised for both financial and programmatic aspects of it. Then what should we expect from the general populace? Understanding FP as a lifestyle, as a norm, and as a social norm. Then for the interfaith, recognizing the critical role they play, willingness and continued support of the traditional and religious leaders. There is need to continue to strengthen their partnership with these leaders towards promoting active leadership in addressing cultural norms and myths on family planning and child spacing. So all these groups need to come forward to leverage on the strength and their comparative advantage for us to be able to move forward. I'll stop here now and thank you all for listening. And again, thank the ad hoc committee for actually coming up with this detailed communique. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Jagun. Please still leave it on. We will give the participants and everyone an opportunity, no matter how quick it is, to make comments into this communique. I know the same way you are hit with all these details is the same way we too were given this assignment. We had to come up with this quickly. So if there are comments, that's why we're leaving it on so that they can be scrolling and we can see whether we can quickly take some of the, yes, sir, BOT chair. No, please, you need to speak into the microphone. Yes, sir.
It's like I'm curious to see where they address issue of last mile distribution. Last mile distribution of commodity to rural area.
Okay, that's noted, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. My own observation is under DMPASC. We had sessions that showed us the impact of the self-care component of it. There were sessions that showed how community volunteers partnered with
to page 3.
COPs, and that increased the value of uptake in communities. So it emphasized community-based service provision. you know, and also linking with the health facility where methods are beyond that. So the self-care, self-injection of DMPASC was operated by another project. So I think we should take off naming a project which shows higher, maybe with PMVs or PMVC, but also adds that both at PMVs and CPs and also community, because it was COPS. It was COPS, and it was a great learning for us that it even increased uptake by 50%, so that's my own observation.
Okay, also noted and well taken. Is the only thing is for those who remembered what the Integrate e-project said. So I think instead of writing their name, we'll just put some of these details which we've highlighted. Okay. You have comments? Yes. Any other quick comments? I know this is hitting us hard, but if there's anything you remember that was important that maybe while Dr. Jagun was speaking, you didn't see it come out. Yes, sir.
One basic thing that is covered in the issue of the interface, there's no emphasis
to the last page.
See, yes, where we have the interfaith, it's only recorded that the role of the interfaith is recognized. But how do we empower interfaith? Because if you recognize just the role and you see what they are doing, you encourage them, how do you empower them? And the issue of training and retraining, and then not just that alone. Some of us, we need some things to back ourselves up, to do this work. This is not taken care of. And honestly, if you go down the interlands, when you go to talk to people about the issue of FP, one thing you are faced with first, because of the poverty level of our people, is how much are you going to give us? And so sometimes we have to go from our own personal pocket. Not everyone supporting us to do some of these things. And I think there is a need for this body to think of a way of supporting us. And not just that. Thank God for Nuri for what she has done. I want to say I stand out today by the grace of God. As a person, when it comes to child spacing on religious aspect. Now, it is because of the training that I got from the Nuri, when they were in the first phase and second phase. And that actually galvanized me to come from the opposition to the main party. You understand? Yes.
Excellent.
So I think there's need to this, and not only to be on paper, but let's see it worked out so that we can be encouraged to do more.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Let me, because I was part of this writing, let me say two things to that. One, when we were writing this communique, we came to the position of, do we make for things to be the individual sectors, or do we make recommendations of what they can do? And we took that decision to say do. However, and the second aspect I'll say is, however, I know hold on, things we wanted to put, how to train them on this, how to train, but we felt if we write a communique and we're putting it as per someone doing something for them, it will just be hanging. So we felt, let us put something that would be their own responsibilities. But it still doesn't mean that they will not be supported. Thank you. Well, your point is noted, sir. And we'll find a way of striking a balance. Oh, okay. Your Royal Highness, sir.
Yeah, no, I think you really amplified. We met now with Moji and we're looking at what the traditional and religious leaders should do. Because some of them are perpetrators. Some of us are the perpetrators of some of these issues. So in addition to general capacity building, you got to map out those who are really in opposition and make special approaches to them. There are some, example, like what you were saying, they felt like the OG was saying, the general chairman was saying. He said in some places, the traditional ruler has to sleep with virgins before he can be appointed. Something like that is so disastrous. There are many small things like that which you can take care of. In fact, in East Africa, over there, they are not only doing vaginal cutting, mutilation, okay, cutting, they're also doing pulling. So really, these issues like this are beginning to creep in. But traditional institutions, where they are, should really be the ones that are really dangerous to our cause, should be mapped out first and taken and trained, like you're saying. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Noted, sir. Okay, Dr. Oji. Oh, okay, Dr. Odeku. Then.
I just want to, I don't know whether I saw anything about resilience, building resilient health systems. That came out clearly, especially during the guest speaker's message. And there were certain recommendations that were made to us to ensure that we build a resilient system for FP services. Secondly, two key things also came up. For us to make sure we have resilience, we should look at the labor market for young people. I don't know whether that came under the section of the young people. Labor market and women empowerment. So holistically, the family planning programming should also maybe partner effectively with women empowerment ventures to give like an holistic kind of view or a total picture. I don't know how to frame it. But these two key things came up as one of the core areas for us to build resilient systems towards future emergencies or pandemics or whatever. So maybe we'll cast it under the youth segment, talking about labor market for the youth, women under, I don't know where we'll put it, you know, so that didn't jump out because I noted it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to clarify. When you say labor market, are you talking about human resource for health, for the private, for the health sector?
No, it came out under the scorecard.
Okay.
You know, the scorecard, if you look at the guest lecturers, those things were brought out as how we would be able to build a resilient system. So the labor market is HR for health, yes, unemployment, all those gamut of enabling environments to be created for us to be able to harness that, to ensure that FP services is expanded and people can pro-poor care and all that. And there was also another discussion in his paper about ensuring family planning services is fully integrated into the health insurance as a way of making sure we build a resilient system, you know.
Okay, thank you for that. We'll expand, especially the guest lecturer to include that, because I also remember the issue of the fact that a lot of young people use social media, digital media. How can that also encourage them to be employable and employed, so that if they have something doing, then some of these risky behaviors and becoming a nuisance or becoming menace to the society can reduce. Yes, Chair.
Yes, I'm looking at the overarching goal of even our focus on FP. All the conversations around making sure that we have a competitive health system, that there is some level of accessibility, equity, and then issues of being able to to pay. And that's where I think it's been mentioned a little bit about healthcare financing through insurance. But I'm looking at how we can bring out very clearly the multi-sectoral approach, which is the one that builds, which is the deliberate steps we have to make from the demographic crisis we are through transition to dividend, and to make sure that we put it in there that is a deliberate step that has to take almost 20 years, not just a knee-jerk approach.
Page 4.
It has to be very clear that we have all the outcome that we need, a prosperous society, using family planning as a linchpin. There must be other multi-sectoral collaboration. And I think during the donor section today, one of the donors also. So we need to find a way to couch it for us to...
Can you read number 4 and see whether...
Okay, can you read it out? I can't see it myself.
Okay, number 4 says strengthen multi-sectoral... Please stop scrolling. Strengthen multi-sectoral collaborations to harness the multiple investments across all sectors involved in adolescent and young persons programs to identify, accelerate, and sustain efforts as we look beyond the FP 2020 commitment.
Can you add?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Noted. Yes, sir. Okay.
Mine has to do with the communique that I observed that all times communique are never in the context of trying to hold either grammatical or statements made. Number one, my observation is on the media. That the media, let's scroll to the media aspect. Let me just have a refresh.
Page 5, scroll down.
Okay.
Stop.
Great. When you talk about the media, the first one, strengthen media advocacy to ensure FP is brought to the fore, mixed effort. That word is very good, to strengthen media. But when you come to the aspect of policymakers, let's see where they talk about the policymakers, how the media can, where is it? So, okay, if we don't come to it, I think I have it in my head. The media's role is to hold policymakers accountable.
Oh, okay, go back there. The third bullet.
Yeah.
Stop. The last one says expand the role of media to hold policymakers accountable.
Yes. My concern is expand the role of the media to be more accountable, because that's the role of the media. They hold policymakers accountable. So in this case, emphasis will be made on more, because if other policymakers see that, they now through the media as if they're not really holding policymakers accountable. I think that's important. And then the last one, the meeting, the duration of the conference. When did it start, and how many days did it last?
First page.
Okay. Now we are saying the sixth Nigeria.
Scroll down a bit more.
No, hold it there.
Oh, okay.
The sixth Nigeria Family Planning Conference 2020 held between 7th and 11th December. Now I'm trying to find out whether it was 7th to the 11th.
Well, when you use the word between, you have to use an and. So except we remove the word between before.
Precisely, that's what I'm saying. So that you now know that it started on the 7th and it ended on the 11th.
Okay.
That's my observation.
Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you so much for all these additions. One of the, there's one more. Okay. No. If you have one more, we'll take it.
thought she's too dumb to ask.
Okay. Thank you so much for this input. You know, when the chair of the technical committee came and the first thing she looked at was the number of pages, she said, this is too long. But we said, you know what, it's easier to have more meat than you can chew. And for the participants to say, where's the meat? I can't feel it in my mouth. So, but thankfully, nobody talked about that. It's too long. In fact, we're even talking about adding some things because I think this conference has been so rich that even looking and trying to compress it into 5 pages was a challenge. So thank you so much to everyone who has contributed. No, right now it's 5 pages. Okay. It's 5 pages. Okay, so we're gradually coming to the very end of the program. Thank you. And we would like to have a formal closure to the program. So it gives me pleasure to invite the chairman, the board of trustees of AAFP, Haji Sani Umar Jabi, to come and officially close the conference. The Sarkin Yakin. Okay.
My father, His Royal Highness, the Emir of Shonga, Dr. Haliru Yahaya, the chairman of the Technical Management Committee, the BOTs, the members of the Technical Management Committee of these organizations, development, pet leaders, women and the youth groups, media, and higher dignitaries online and here with us. I must to congratulate all of us for the successful completion, starting and completion. I wish all of us successful and journey mercy back to our respective destination. And I wish also we will all commit to action. All actionable issues that we table here, we all agreed we will need to follow up with you to see the level of implementations and ownership enhanced, because this document is ours. I believe there wasn't 0 point given to us, important point. It is ours. Therefore, we need to commit to action. To our development partners and government alike, I'm appealing to you to please support our traditional and religious leaders. We need their ownership enhancement. When the traditional and religious leaders, because they are the custodian of the grassroots, they are very listened to and respected. They shape the opinion and influence decision at various levels. Hence, there is the need to engage them and to empower them to be able to conduct multi-level sensitization, multi-level community advocacy, multi-level town hall meeting, and to also messages being developed through the IEC material and others need to include the languages of the area. Language barrier is one of the major impeding the achieving the success of the goal, family planning. We need to break those languages. We need to make it global commitment, local implementation strategies. This is a national issue. We need to understand our local peculiarity and to push this to ensure that every other segment of society in our area are well intimated on the outcome of Abuja 6th NFPC2020 conference. I want to thank you all for being here. And on this note, I declare the conference closed.
Thank you very much, Sakin Yak. Okay, so make it global, but implement locally. Yeah, so start globally, but implement locally. So the very last thing, you know, when we were all children, and if you were given something, your mother will say, "What do you say?" Aha. So it gives me pleasure to invite the chair, TMC and AAFP chairman, the LOC chair, Dr. AGK Oji, to give us the vote of thanks.
Wow, wow, wow. What a 5-day period. I want to start by thanking the chairman of the occasion, the holistic chairman who graciously agreed to chair this conference, His Eminence Emir of Shanga. Well, we thank you, sir. We want to also give a load of thanks to the chairman of our BOT and members of the BOT who have supported this initiative and made sure that it was carried to the letter. We thank you so much. We want to also thank the members of the Technical Management Committee. Some of them are still here, some have left, but it is very important to say that everybody's contribution has led to the success of this conference that we're seeing today. Our bundle of thanks also go to the ministers, the Honorable Minister of Health and his Minister of State for Health, who graciously both attended this meeting, one live, one virtual. We can't say thank you enough. And especially Dr. Salma Kolo, who facilitated that to happen. We want also to thank the Honorable Minister of Women Affairs, Her Excellency Pauline Talen, who at short notice cut short everything she was doing to be with us. We want to also thank the Minister of FCT, who unfortunately was not able to come because of another very important assignment, but graciously sent a representative in the name of Dr. Kau, who is the Secretary of Health here in FCT. Our bundle of thanks also go to the Andoma of Doma, who was here today, and wowed all of us as to the good work we can see he's already doing and will help all of us do. For us to be able to have this conference, people gave us money, people gave us moral support, and this is where we're giving our bundle of thanks to the donors, especially USAID, UKAID, Gates Foundation, MSD for Mothers, and other major donors and implementing partners who supported this conference in one way or the other. The rich conversations we had came from our keynote speaker, His Honorable, who was a former Minister of State here in Nigeria, Alhaji Mohammed Ali Pate, who is at the World Bank, gave us a keynote address. We owe him a lot of thanks. Also, Professor Lanre Olaniyi, who is a professor of economics at the University of Ibadan, was our guest speaker and has provoked a lot of conversation that has made it to our communique today. Our vote of thanks also go to the youth leaders, the interfaith and women, and we're excited to even see the interfaith people still in the room here. And I remember what Mr. Badru told me earlier on, that what he has learned in this conference cannot be qualified. That is so invaluable. Thank you for being here, and they're going to spread the word. We wish also to thank the FP2020 Secretariat in Washington, D.C. They are our international alter ego. They echo what we do in Nigeria, and then also use lessons that we have. A good example, the interfaith work we do in Nigeria, they are using it as a model to get to the African region where other people are having some problems with the religious leaders. So we thank them so much. The big thanks goes to the members of the LOC. And at this point in time, I will plead that all the chair, the co-chairs and members of TMC and local organizing committee that are still here to please stand up for recognition. May you all please stand. Members of the LOC, TMC, Moji Odeku, the indefatigable finance minister of AFP, LOC, She was instrumental to raising all the money that we use for this conference. Can't thank you enough, Moji. We want also to thank Dr. Haruna Okai. He chaired and headed the Technology and Logistics Committee with Ekenem. The technology you're seeing today that we now own as an organization, he was instrumental to making sure that that happened. We want also to thank the indefatigable Moriam Jagu, the workhorse who put the technical things together. We also have the chairman, the he for she, Dr. Chika Abazu, who headed the subcommittee of women. Yes, so we want also to thank Dr. Tunde Chegu and Dr. Kerafo, whose excellent compare has made this possible. Thank you. Please, may you sit down. Thank you so much. We want also to thank Madam Nike Adeyemi. Thank you for still being here with us. Well, thank you because you are the Mama RH. I think you are showing the resilience that we are talking about. Resilience, resilience, resilience. Also to thank the youth. I can't see Kosi here, but I'm sure the youth. Okay, Margaret Molaji is here. Give her a good round of applause. And all the team that has made everything work very well. And before I move away from thanking the people who worked so hard, I don't want to forget the members of the Secretariat. Where is Nkiru and the Nenche? These two young people, where is Nkiru? I can't thank these ones enough. For almost 3 months, they didn't have a salary as we are planning this and they worked on. That shows commitment. God will bless you people. And in between, our dear old good Isaac Ebenezer had an accident and he's still in Kaduna. But even though he's in Kaduna, he's still giving the technical support to Enenche to do all the accounting work. Yes, Enenche also lost his elder brother. As we speak, he hasn't been buried, but see where he is. In fact, it looks like it's a harvest of deaths around us. Myself, while we were planning this, I lost my younger brother and buried him. But I put my face on this because this is more. The dead is dead and be buried. The living is only for the future. And then Damien, who is an intern, who is the doctor in NTA, who is doing internship in our office, he graciously got us all the media support we got from NTA, both the Good Morning Nigeria, all the media coverage we are getting from NTA, gratis due to his support. He also lost his sister-in-law last week. So it's like a harvest of death everywhere. And then Dr. Mrs. Ashi, where is she? She here? And Dr. Charles, we want to thank them to support us. We especially give thanks to the media. I don't know how we can thank the media. Working with the media. Is she here? She didn't stand up on that. Oh, come. That's why I'm now singling out the media. I didn't know she was even here. No. Please give this young lady a big round of applause. Chinyere has done so much to organize the media. The type of media we have had conference during this conference is like every time he's shopping for who will go to the media. You know, so we want to thank you, Chinyerugo. Where is Hadiza Ali? Hadiza Ali, the co-chair. She also supported all the media work and they're still continuing. And I'm using this opportunity to please, anytime she calls you, please go. Anytime any of us appears, we advance our work. Thank you, Chinyerugo, and your group. I want to also thank the technology support group that we've had. Two wonderful young men, Coco and Bayo. Where are they? Coco and Bayo. I remember what Moriam said to me about Coco one day. He said he wants to meet this young man. Call him at midnight. He's so polite and ready to listen. Coco, thank you very much. Where's Bayo? Okay, thank Bayo for us when you see him. The other has to go to this hotel, Wells Carlton Hotel. When we had done our budget, cutting our code according to our size, we wanted to use the, according to our cloth, go? When we wanted to use the Army Reference Resource Center, halfway through, the technology group said, no, they won't give us what we want because they were rigid. We can't change whatever they had there. This fine place we have and all that, we wouldn't have been able to achieve it. So we decided to look around. And then we all agreed last time we did this in Sheraton, we weren't going back to Sheraton Hotel and Towers. So we now had to shop. And then Dr. Okai and I shopped and got this place. And the reason why I want to specially thank them that I shot straight with the marketing manager. I said to him, please, this is our budget. Anything you can do to show how your hotel is supporting the women of Nigeria, this is the budget. The man looked at it. He put his hand on his head. He said, Dr. Oji, how would I do it? I said, I don't know, but I've given you, take it or leave it. I wish he was here. Jerry is not around, but I think we should thank him so much. He accommodated our budget, and that's why we have had our meeting in this very wonderful hotel. The other person I want to also commend is Patrick from FCAPE. Where is Patrick? FPCAPE. Patrick was a handyman. Patrick, where are you? Please wave your hand. Patrick was awesome. Just send Patrick on an errand. Just go and sleep. If he doesn't get it, he doesn't come back to you. He made sure that all our printing work was completed and delivered. Thank you so much, Patrick. God will bless you. To thank all our Nigerian logins and international logins who stayed on. Initially, this meeting was planned to be between 9 and 12, and then 2 to 4 p.m. But because of the deluge of abstract that we received, it became very difficult. I pitied Moriam. At a point, we had a fight. I said, Moriam, we can't do more than 4 sessions. This is something we are trying newly. We must make sure we reduce the pressure so we'll have the best outcome. But we saw the number of wonderful abstracts. We couldn't resist it. And then we were now able to go from 4 to 6. And that also meant getting more additional room and putting resources. But I can say our resilience, I think one of our distances, resilience, has paid off. And I think God has made it to come very wonderful of the conference. So I use this opportunity to give my own personal thanks to everybody who has given us one support of the other. And I thank the ushers, the beautiful young ladies who are also quietly helping us. Thank you so much, and God bless everybody.